Thank you for coming back again to watch as we talk about the theme of distractions. This is our series on Solomon, part 10, from 1 Kings chapter 11, verses 1 through 4. But King Solomon loved many foreign women, as well as the daughter of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Sidonians, and Hittites, from the nations of whom the Lord had said to the children of Israel, "You shall not intermarry with them, nor they with you. Surely they will turn away your hearts after their gods." But Solomon clung to these in love. And he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines. And his wives turned away his heart. For so it was when Solomon was old, that his wives turned his heart after other gods. And his heart was not loyal to the Lord his God, as was the heart of his father David. Notice that the very first word in this passage is the word but. That is a very important word because from chapter 1 all the way through chapter 9, we have the description of how Solomon was such a wonderful king. It looked like he was going to be a perfect king. Everything was going well. But in chapter 10, and in the beginning of this, chapter 11, the author put the word but. Solomon had been loyal to the Lord, but now he loved other women from various countries. So it's sad that even though Solomon had a wonderful reign, and now it had to come to an end because he loved all of those other women from the various nations around Israel. God had already given a command, please don't intermarry with these people. Marry your own kind. God had warned them, and yet these women had turned his heart away from the God. But do you understand the seriousness of this? This is King Solomon who built a temple for God. He dedicated this beautiful area that God had given. God had given Solomon wisdom, fame, fortune, and all of these things. And yet, he decided to love these other women. Can you imagine 700 wives and 300 concubines? You total that up, that's 1,000 women. Can you imagine yourself dealing with 1,000 women? Can you imagine all the bickering and the problems that would result from that? I prefer one wife. That's the best way. But all of those wives, how in the world could they be happy? One would say, well, you worship the God Yahweh, but I prefer the God Baal. And all these women who had the various gods bickering among themselves, and Solomon is wondering what to do about this. So there in the mountains surrounding Jerusalem, Solomon gave in and allowed these different temples to be built up in honor of the gods of all of his wives. But this caused the people of Israel to be trapped. And they had to struggle with this from then on. Every king of Israel, would I follow God or would I follow Baal? Would I follow the true God or another false god? Well, King Solomon made a very unwise decision in this matter. But don't we sometimes make decisions that are not wise? Decisions that impact our family and our friends or even our church? Now, I understand that with Solomon as a king, that had greater impact because that was a great position he held over Israel. And yet, every decision we make has consequences. They do influence our friends and our church. So please make sure you make right decisions and know where your weak areas are in your heart. We need to follow the Lord. Let him search your heart, like Psalm 139 talks about. Lord, search my heart, and if you see anything wrong in me, help me to change my life. Well, come back tomorrow, and we'll see more about the results from Solomon's unwise decision.